Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to the internet. Welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream where you get an extra healthy side helping today, and today only, of a big bowl of pinto beans, fresh cornbread, fried potatoes, and for dessert, peach cobbler.
Oh, I like peach.
Ooh, peach cobbler is one of my favorites.
Mm.
My mom used to make a great peach cobbler. But with me, as always, as you can tell, is Irate Bear. How you doing, buddy?
Did you just forget my name, dude?
No.
It took you an awfully long time to spit that out.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
old. I'm old, you know. It takes a minute for them synapses to fire.
so far. Hello. I hope you're well, Mr. Wing, and hello to you, chat. I hope the Thursday evening finds you well.
Yeah. How's it going, chat? Everybody that's showed up so far. It cracks me up. There's not a lot, but there's a few people that show up long before the stream starts.
Mm-hmm.
And that just tickles me to death. I mean, and then at the same time, I wonder why.
They're sad, sad people.
Yeah, I know. Oh, and thank you for Random American. In case you're listening, I did see your post at the beginning of it. Thank you for giving me the view, even though you got things to do. Appreciate that. So, yeah, it's Thursday.
Thursday, what's going on? How's your day been, dude? How's your day been?
Not too bad. A little slow. I was more active on Twitter today than I've been for a while. I don't know why. I just felt
I
like
saw. It
Just-
tweeted up a storm.
Yeah, for me it was. I'm nothing like a lot of people, but yeah. Just trying to get caught back up on things because yesterday I took one of those sabbaticals that I often take. Well, the second half of yesterday, about 1 or 2 o'clock, I shut down Twitter and YouTube and all that stuff and just played video games. So
that sounds good to me.
yeah. Well, I enjoyed it. Got to take a break once in a while, just keep your head clear,
Yeah, I do the same thing, but instead of video games, it's anime, or I get in bed and watch anime.
Yeah. Actually, my bedroom's where the TV is. I could lay in there and watch TV easily, but I don't usually. Don't watch much TV.
I also have a TV in my bedroom, but it's a smart TV, so I can watch Netflix on it if I want to.
Yeah. Oh, is there something going on? I don't know. Nuts is I got here early enough to see Necrosol hitting on functional. What's going on, boys? Is there something I don't know about here?
This is a Christian channel. We don't tolerate queerosexuals in the chat doing queerosexual things. All right, in these parts, we execute the queers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Don't make me come down there, because I'll give you the type of ass whipping that you don't like.
The kind you don't like. Oh yeah, Daddy hit me.
Jen says, "Who spanked you, Bear?" Who hasn't? Who hasn't spanked me?
And he liked it.
Well, yeah, all right. And Green Thunder the Mighty's absolutely correct. You guys should be smashing the like button, like Functional smashed Necrosol's ass a few moments ago, and sharing the stream out like Necrosol shared his STIs with Functional in the chat there.
There you go. Hey, and hello, Lupus Damon. Toasted. We're going to cover that here in just a minute, as you can tell by the title. We're going to talk about my favorite simian, Mr. Ranting Monkey, and what just happened to him recently, and maybe discuss what few of the details. As I said, I took a break yesterday, so I wasn't there for the stream, but I have been able to piece together some of what's going on. So
Indeed, yeah. He was on my stream this morning and he explained to me what happened. Joe Brown says, it seems like Irate Bear is a kinky bear. You have no idea. You have no idea.
You're
He's a
just
kinky
figuring that out.
bear. He's a
God.
kinky bear. Irate Bear likes whips and chains. He's a kinky bear.
Little slow on the uptake there, Joel, aren't you?
Mhm.
Pat, no, I don't guess I did. So sometimes I hear about stuff and it doesn't register, but about Beth Chapman. Yes, Jedi Ghost Bear. I did see that Shoe on Head also got hit. Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Same thing.
But remember, guys, these aren't actual strikes. They're not channel strikes. They're something else. They're akin to a copyright claim, but it's not a claim, and it's not a copyright strike either. It's just a copyright takedown, which results in a 3-month ban from live streaming.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll get to that in just a moment. But as I said, I hope everybody's having a good day. Oh, and I I do got some news. I'm almost embarrassed to say it. Yeah, I know that some of you have been enjoying Redneck Trek. Even though I noticed that my views have been going down consistently with each episode, which worries me a little bit. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop just because the views go down, because I enjoy it. But yesterday I was playing some Star Trek Online and hadn't realized up to that point that the graphics were turned down to the lowest setting. Apparently, the game itself set me on the lowest. As you guys could probably tell by watching the gameplay footage. So I said, well, I'm going to give it a try. And I turned it up to the highest setting and it worked just fine. So as soon as I get through the footage that I've already recorded, which will be here soon, we'll have some better graphics. And it does seem to make quite a bit of difference.
What are you using to record the gameplay with?
Yeah. OBS.
OBS. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Since I already had that, and it's just easy as pie to do on OBS. You know, you just open a game window and hit record, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
I personally found OBS to be a bit difficult when recording gameplay. I mean, it's easy to do and set up and everything. It's just a bit, yeah. The GeForce experience has a better way of, it's just better at recording gameplay if possible.
Well, I could probably look into that on my graphics card, which isn't, it's not that it's, I have AMD as my chipset. So whatever the AMD version of that is. So
yeah,
but
there's probably something out there, a decent gameplay recorder.
But
as it was,
yeah, pretty soon we'll be having better graphics. And again, and I'll mention this again at the end of the stream. Do look for this. I have a feeling that this upcoming episode is going to be a good one. I have that feeling. I haven't recorded it yet, but I just have that feeling.
He has that feeling, folks.
Yeah, so check that out.
He's not sure whether it's going to be a good video or whether his prostate is going to remain small enough to him to tinkle only a few times in that day.
If you know, regardless of whether people like it or not, I enjoy it a lot. If you could see me while I'm recording the voiceovers for this stuff, not only do I have fun with the actual gameplay, because I do, but when I go back and do the voiceovers later, if you could see how many times I have to pause Audacity because I'm cracking myself up. Oh, it's hilarious. Oh, so yeah, Monkey. If you don't know, and it happened midstream from everything that I can gather, Monkey got spanked for streaming the Democratic Party debates during Lords of the Night last night. And in the process, he's lost his ability to stream for 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Which seems a little extreme to me, but hey, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Wish that I've been here because I've been there because I'd have been in the chat saying, "Don't do this, monkey. They're gonna get you." And yeah, our initial reaction, because they are such crap, is to blame YouTube. But honestly, people, this probably comes from MSNBC, who aired the stream.
Yeah.
Because, you know, their whole point is to get all your views, and so to get all your money.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It was, come to find out, it was a pretty big sweep, as somebody mentioned earlier. Shoe on Head also got hit with it. There was a ton of people trying to stream it that got hit with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Monkey by any means. But yeah, so yeah, it probably came from MSNBC because, you know, they're greedy. And whether we agree with it or not, according to the rules, they've got the right to do that.
It's I know that Monkey and Shoe on Head both tried to speak to YouTube.
Yeah.
And well, the guy that Monkey spoke to couldn't explain it sufficiently, the rules and regulations. It'd be much better coming from Monkey's mouth, to be honest. But
I was kind of hoping he'd show, but he's probably sleeping.
Yeah, I did ask him if he was going to show up. He said he would if, you know, provided he doesn't crash.
Yeah.
Which he probably has crashed, to be fair. You know how fucked up his sleeping pattern is. What was I going to say now? So yeah, he spoke to some guy at YouTube, and yeah, he was like, "Oh, you know, you broke terms of service." Like, okay, what did I break? It's a feature, and they're like, "Well, what was the feature do?" "Oh, get a lawyer." But along those lines, dude. Along those lines,
right.
Speak to a lawyer. Speak to a lawyer. It's like, no. How about you explain to me what the crack is and why I can't stream for 90 days? Well, Monkey, obviously, not me.
Yeah. I mean, I could see shutting down the stream. Okay, fine and dandy. All right, if you think we're breaking fair use by streaming something that somebody else is streaming right now, then fine. But 90 days seems a little harsh. But hey, you know, who am I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is pretty harsh, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. And I've seen some of Shoe on Head posted some screenshots of her conversation with YouTube. And I guess she's got to go to copyright school.
Yeah, Monkey will have to do that as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Toasted, honestly, in a situation like this, and earlier on Twitter, I was talking with people that are in the know on this kind of thing. There's probably nothing you could have done in this situation that would have kept you out of trouble.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this is coming from likely from MSNBC, not YouTube.
Yeah.
They're a major, you know, company, and YouTube's going to bow to them. And they said, hey, we don't want nobody streaming that streaming this, you know, shut them down. And so they did.
Yeah. It's a bit shit, really. I mean, that's Monkey. that's Monkey's revenue, you know. That's how he makes money. It's really, really shit. But you know, good news though, guys. At the same time, you can go follow Ranting Monkey on DLive. I will grab his link for you now.
Yeah. See you, Agent Penis. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Where else are you going to hear someone say that?
Agent Penis.
Yeah, and I'm sure rhetorical entertainment. I'm not sure how it works on these big companies' side. They probably do have the ability to just take it down on their own.
Yeah, probably.
They don't even need YouTube to do it for them. But as critical as I am of YouTube, and you know I'm no fan of YouTube around here, you know, it's the company YouTube. What it's capable of, I'm a fan of, obviously, because I have a channel. But the way that it's run, I'm not a fan of. I can't blame this one on them. In all good conscience, I just can't, because it likely came from mainstream media.
I blame both.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't like Monkey or Shoes or anyone else's chances of getting this overturned. They're probably going to have to serve their 90 days. And that sucks.
Yeah, it's a bit shit, really. I mean, God of the days when creators could go to Ben, trusted flagger. I mean, there is a trusted flagger. He's actually somebody who I spoke to today.
Yeah.
But I don't know how receptive he would be to people over something like this. I imagine quite a few people were hit, so he's probably inundated with people going, "What's the fucking crack, man?" Especially considering that both Ranting Monkey and Shoehead, and I imagine others also spoke directly to YouTube. So
yeah. Faithless, I don't doubt that there were a few people that were able to get by with it. I'm sure it would be difficult to have caught everybody. But with a little bit of digging, you'll find that this was a pretty widespread thing. There were tons of people hit with it.
Excuse me for a moment, mate.
Okay, because there were a ton of people that were attempting to stream the thing as well, because, well, it was big news, and apparently they thought they could get away with it. Yeah, Maniac Man, I agree with you, but on TV, there's commercials, and therefore money for the people broadcasting it. And if you're not watching it and you're not seeing your commercials, their way of thinking is you're stealing money from them. Not saying I agree with that. I'm just telling you what the facts are. You know, folks, I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist, and I like to deal with what the facts are, whether I like them or not. But yeah, it's a bad situation. It's not fun for Monkey, and I'm not sure what he's going to do. Maybe he'll stream over on his other channel for a while, his gaming channel, and that way he can at least get Streamlabs out of it and so forth. I don't know what he's going to do. I have not spoken to Monkey today.
First, wasn't he?
He's able to stream on his gaming channel. You can stream.
I know, but he'll have to use Streamlabs. That's it. No super chats.
Well, exactly. That's what I was saying. So at least that way he could use his Streamlabs.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's going to do, what his options are. Because I haven't been able to speak to him today at all. Jim Beam, how many subscribers are needed before you need to receive super chat? 1,000 and so many view hours.
4,000 hours worth of watch time,
which is more than you think it is. It's a little hard to get, but yeah. At 1,000 is when you can apply. That doesn't mean you're going to get it, because you've got to make both 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 view hours, both.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could apply for it. That's kind of how the whole process starts off. You apply for it, you confirm it, you verify it, and then you begin the you start on the road to 4,000 hours worth of watch time and 1,000 subscribers.
Now, I didn't personally have to go through that process because I was already monetized before the last apocalypse. Got all of us below 1,000 subs demonetized again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd already been through that process of getting monetized. So when I did reach 1,000 subs, and luckily I had the 4,000 view hours at the point that I reached 1,000 subs, and so I was able to get my monetization back. But, yeah,
the streams helped.
It has. And I'm hoping to build on that. That's why the Redneck track thing, hoping to build on that to give even more and varied content. This stream has been a success, and it continues to be a success, which I am so grateful to you guys for. I'm glad you care what I have to say enough to show up.
3 times a week.
Yeah, 3 times a week. I wished I was able to do it more often than that, because I do enjoy it. But just not able. And there is just a heads up. Because the old man was denied his disability, I am looking into trying to get a job, which is difficult because I have to find one that I can physically do, and I have a lot of physical limitations. I'm a cripple. I'm a freaking cripple. But if that happens and I get another job, this stream might have to be might have to go to the wayside, or at the very least the time altered, to suit whatever my schedule is. But
yeah,
that's in the future. Till then, we'll keep up on the same schedule we're on now. Well, except for Saturday. Saturday's probably going to have to move. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with Saturday's stream when football season starts, because I am going to restart my NFL stream this season.
That's fine.
Yeah. I'm either going to move it to Friday or move it to Sunday. Can't decide which.
Okay.
Nuts says, I hope you reapplied. I haven't yet. There's actually a company that's helping me with this. I have to give them. When you get disability, often you will get a lump sum along with the monthly payments, a one-time lump sum, and they get a percentage of that lump sum.
Yeah.
For helping me through all the process, and they'll be reapplying for me and all that business. So
yeah,
I'm not letting it go, but I'm not liking my chances.
We'll see, mate. We'll see.
But Man says my father has the same problem. I know, right? I'm more than willing to go back to work. It's not that I'm lazy by any means. I've worked hard. The first job I worked for a paycheck, people, was 1976, and I worked consistently since that time up until 4 years ago when the company I worked for folded. It's not that suddenly 4 years ago, after 40 years, that I suddenly got lazy. Just didn't happen. It's just a situation says I have to be pickier. When I was younger, I could take any job. I could go work on a loading dock. I could work here. I could work there. Shoot, I could flip hamburgers, which I'm not too proud to do, if I had to. But I can't do that kind of stuff anymore. But it is what it is, and enough of sounding me like I'm whining, because I'm not. Like I said, I'm a realist, and I just like to look at things the way they are. But yeah, so I'm not sure what else we can say about the situation with Monkey other than what we've said.
Yeah, I've shared the link in the chat for people to go follow him on DLife. I know that he probably will stream on there. I don't know what he plans to do about Lords of the Night, whether he'll do it there or whatever the crack is. I know his satellite internet connection is a bit weird and a bit iffy, but it's there. And should he choose to use it, then you guys will know where he is.
Rhetorical entertainment, Walmart greeter. Yeah, nice Walter reference there, because my kids, two of which you guys know as J Kid and Mama Minnie, are always teasing me that's who I am, is Walter. So yeah, we've talked about that. It wouldn't be the first time, because well, Jiminy Christmas, my wife, J Kid, Mama Minnie, and my youngest daughter's husband have all worked for Walmart at some point or another.
Speak of the devil when he shall appear.
Boy, look at that. Look at him pop up, and you can see what he thinks about Walmart. Hey, son.
What's going on, bruh?
But yeah, as far as what got him he was streaming the Democratic Party debates, which I didn't watch, like I said, but I have seen some snippets and stuff, and some crazy stuff went on there, I guess, including candidates just spontaneously breaking out into Spanish.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't know. It was funny. It was Beto, however you say his freaking name. And he just spontaneously breaks out into Spanish in response to a question, which he never answered, even in Spanish. And you could see some of the other candidates looking at him like, what the heck is wrong with you, dude?
Are they like, because it's a bit of a stereotype, isn't it? Like when Spanish ladies or Spanish mothers, when they get annoyed or when they get angry or they tend to get a little bit, emotional, they explode into, just talking fits. Was there a stage full of fucking Spanish ladies or something?
Yeah, it was Beto, and then not to be outdone, Booker joins in and he starts speaking Spanish.
What?
I'm not joking, man.
Are they
This happened.
Furbies? You just set each other off.
It was hilarious from what I seen of it. It was just incredible. Oh, J Kid, yeah, to the border stuff, and that's why trying to virtue signal is what they were doing.
Maybe they caught AOC disease. They spotted a couple of Mexicans in the audience or whatever, and then they started with the accent at first, and then just thought, "Fuck it, I'm going to beat AOC at her own game and just start speaking Spanish."
Yeah. I wonder if they done that 1,000-yard stare, that she done in that photo while like that. Done their own photo op. I had actually intended on watching it just for the hilarity, because there are so many people running for the Democratic candidate that I know it's going to just have some hilarious moments like that. But yeah, I had actually forgot it was on and decided to play video games instead, which I'm not sorry I did. I can catch up on it later.
What top? Do you know what topics they were covering?
Well, Ben Snyder says the highlight was Castro supporting trans women's right to abortions.
What?
Yeah. I told you, man.
What kind of crazy
nuts.
shit is that? What?
It's American politics. That's what it is. It is a breed all its own. I mean, every country's politics can get crazy. That's just a fact, because that's politics.
So, like British political debates, they can get a little bit heated, but they don't get crazy. It's only in the House of Commons do things get a little bit out of hand, when they start jeering and acting like they're in the middle of a friggin' rap battle. But what the fuck?
Yeah. Trust me, Bear. Politics in America is a breed all its own.
Shoot. That should be its own TV program right there.
Oh, it could easily be. Easily. Yeah, easily. And it's only going to get worse, like I've said before, when it gets down and they narrow people down and it gets down to the Democratic Party primaries, where they actually choose who they're going to put up as their presidential candidate.
Yeah.
Ooh, it'll get nasty then. Even nastier then than once they do find out who it is and your Democratic Party and your Republican Party fight it out. It gets nastier even than that, because they can eat their own with the best of them.
Damn.
But it's going to be hilarious if you can put up with the political doublespeak long enough to watch it. I'm guarantee there'll be moments that will just like, what?
So with British politics and stuff, when it comes to these kind of things, like they will sling shit at each other.
Yeah.
But they will never look directly at each other when doing it, and there'll be just a condescending, like posh douche canoes.
Right.
My esteemed friend here was caught sniffing cocaine in the lavatory. You know, never looking at him, holding his hand up, pointing at him, and then the other one would do it back to him and sling shit. But you know, it never gets truly crazy like that. And
well, I hand it to them here. They will keep eye contact, and in fact, you know, when one's speaking, most of the rest of them are looking directly at them. They might be looking at him like you're an idiot, but they're looking at him. And it gets pretty hilarious at times. But yeah, they were virtue signaling to the whole illegal immigrant thing. And of course, big right now is that picture of the father and his little kid, you know, lying
I've
dead
seen that horrendous
down in the Rio Grande.
Yeah, it's made it to British news. That shit's fucking horrendous.
It is terrible.
They're doing to you what they did to us when the refugee crisis started, when the little Syrian boy on the beach.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing, just a different country, different people. That's all.
Which it's a tragedy. It's tragic. You know, I don't want to see anyone die. I might pick on their politics and this, that, and the other, but I don't want to see anyone die, especially a little kid. But the blame doesn't lie on Trump and the Republican Party.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. Because here's the thing, and I said this on Twitter, I think it was yesterday, because it just cracks me up that people act like the whole border thing is a new crisis and Trump invented it, you know?
Yeah. Well, of course, they've got to spin it that way.
Right. None of these people were speaking out when it was all going on under Obama. In fact, a lot of the pictures they try to blame on Trump, when you research it, they actually happened under Obama's watch. You know, like caged children and, you know, people sleeping under those aluminum foil blankets and on the floor. And
yeah, man. In fact, I remember I think that Dave Cullen had up in a video and he was trying to point this exactly what you just said out. He had a video where it was from Obama's administration, and they had these two cages, and one had adults in and the other had children in, and they were like covered up with the like the shiny foil like blankets, like the fire blankets.
Yep, that was taken in 2015.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. So why? It's because it's Trump.
Yeah,
they don't care. They don't care about these people at all.
And in all fairness, it didn't start with Obama either. I'll be 60 years old my next birthday, and I can't remember a time when illegal immigration wasn't a hot button topic. It's always been. It's always been, you know, something that's been an issue for as long as I can remember. But you know, suddenly now, no, it's all Trump's fault. He started it, which he didn't. You know, he's just trying to fix it. You know, and it's been an issue as for as long as I can remember, and it's going to be probably an issue for long after I'm gone. I mean, we've got a border to our south, a very large border, which is a gateway to a lot of poorer countries in Central and South America. So there's going to be a lot of people trying to get in. And, you know, so it's going to continue to be an issue, unfortunately. But it just cracks me up. And while we're on this topic, the other thing that cracks me up, and I cannot remember the name of the company. Somebody in chat will probably know that, but there's a company that makes beds that went on strike so they wouldn't make beds because Trump ordered some beds to put in the camps down on the border so people wouldn't sleep on the floor.
What?
Now that makes no sense to me. Wayfair, thank you, J-Kid. Yeah. So you know what that tells me? They don't care about these immigrants.
They don't.
They don't. What they want is everybody to agree with them on an open border. If they cared about these immigrants, they'd make these beds. If they cared about the immigrants, they'd make the beds for free.
Yeah.
And send them over there. Because in the meantime, even if you convince the rest of the country that we should have open borders, it's going to take time to implement. And these kids need a bed to sleep in.
Yeah, now.
Right. They're not going to wait for you to sort out the politics. Let's get it done. And even now, there's been a deal passed in the Senate, giving billions of dollars more to the border situation, but the House is refusing to listen to it, to hear it, to bring it to the floor to be voted on. Yeah, they don't care about these immigrants. They just care about their politics.
Yeah, exactly. For every immigrant, that's a vote. That's all they are.
Yeah.
So it's just another vote for them.
Yeah. I get it.
I have a question, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
So this company that makes beds, they were offered compensation, correct? It was a contract, right? Money in exchange.
I think the company was donating them, but but typically, yeah, the government would have bought them.
So that doesn't mean you said Trump ordered them to give them the beds, right?
Right.
So that surely there would have been some compensation, right?
Probably. And even if there wasn't, their employees that actually do the work would have gotten paid for their time,
for their labor.
Yeah.
But no, they were selling them. So they were selling them. No, a non-for-profit group ordered them.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit confused now. So the bedding company was going to get paid, but it's the non-for-profit organization that said, actually, no, we're not going to do it.
It was actually their employees. They struck. They went on strike.
Non-profit NGO that was helping ICE house them.
The
original order was to a not-for-profit.
Real quick. Okay. Thank you, Toasted Network, for the donation. Do they speak Arabic in the UK debates?
Don't know. Do they speak Autist where you're from?
So
you actually have that's not really a burn, considering that we have an English majority in our country, whereas you don't.
Yeah.
Autist.
The nonprofit bought them from Wayfair, the company that made the bed.
Right.
It was Wayfair's employees, some of them, that decided to go on strike because they didn't want the beds made. Their reasoning was because that supports having these camps in the meantime, and they don't want the camps to exist. So they think if they don't make beds for them, they'll do away with the camp, which is just ridiculous thinking to begin with. Like I said, they don't care about these immigrants.
No, they don't.
None of them crying for open borders care about it. If they cared about them, they'd make sure that they have better conditions. They got a bed to sleep in and all the things that they need first, and then work out all the politics.
A bed makes a world of difference as well.
Oh, absolutely.
A world of difference. Yeah, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about these migrants. They claim to, but they don't.
No, they don't.
Talking out their asses.
Yeah, because like I said, if they really cared, they'd make sure that these immigrants were cared for. And I want to see them cared for. People have the misunderstanding that conservatives don't care about these people at the border. I do care. I don't want to see a kid sleeping on the floor, on a cement floor with an aluminum blanket. I don't want to see that. Just because I believe that our borders shouldn't be open, and that, if you want to come to this country, fine, but do it the right way, through the proper channels, do it legally. Doesn't mean I don't care about how they're treated at these camps, and the camps, unfortunately, have to exist because it takes time to sort it out. There's such a mass influx of immigrants at our southern border. That's the reason there's issues, because we don't have room for them all. We just don't have room for them all. And when you get overcrowding, that's where you get these conditions.
It's retarded. It really is. Just, it's such a selfish gotcha. It really is.
Oh, it is.
That's all it is. It's just a crappy, selfish gotcha moment. That's all it is. And do you know who suffers? The kids.
Oh, absolutely. It's the kids that suffers.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really care about the adults. I mean, I don't care about the adults as much. They're the ones that made the decision to come into this country illegally. Okay.
Leftists do not do charity without an agenda.
But the children, I've got a heart and I love kids. Man, I got 10 grandkids. Of course I love kids. I don't want to see a child suffer because that child did not make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're an innocent. So I mean, that's what I care about. And the fact that the Senate has passed a bill or what have you for billions of dollars more to make sure that these people have better conditions down there, and then the Democratic Party led House is refusing to even floor the deal just to prove their point. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about these people. It's all about the politics to them. If you really cared, you'd make sure that whatever needs to be done to see that these people have what they need while they are there in those camps first, and then figure out the politics later. If you really cared, that's what you'd do. Barrett, would you mind sending, you know me and doing two things at once, sending Maddie a link? She's asking for a link.
But I'm smoking.
Well, if you mind, I'll try to do it. But you know me,
No,
there's going to be dead
it.
air.
Oh, I'll bloody do it.
There's going to be dead air if I do it.
Crazy old man. Right.
Yes, and?
Right, copy link address. I'll send it now. See you,
Kyler.
Bye, Kyler. Have a good day at work. Where the fuck is Maddie? Oh, there she is. There we are. There we are. Rhetorical entertainment. Leftists don't do charity. They vote to have your taxes go towards charitable causes. Not all the time. You forget NGOs exist. And NGOs are often present themselves as charities for good causes. And there's actually a serious political agenda behind it most of the time.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, Joel Brown. The thing that takes me up the most is when certain people compare these camps to concentration camps, which is just pathetic. Do they even know what happened in those camps? And you know, we're all familiar with that. Hey, Maddie, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good. I've been following that, and the whole concentration camp issue. And I started a whole argument on Facebook when I said, if you can yell at me about the historical significance of the Confederate flag, then I can yell at you for calling the detention camps concentration camps. Because I'm sorry, when you say concentration camp, I'm not thinking kids in tents. I'm thinking, gas chambers and acid showers and, piles of bodies and human experimentation and
we know that their whole argument after that, AOC's argument was, well, I'm not talking about death camps. Yeah. AOC, learn your history. There were over 4,000 camps in German occupied territory.
Mm-hmm.
Over 4,000. And all of them in one form or another were a death camp. If they didn't gas you, they worked you to death, or they starved you to death, or
it was all inclusive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Auschwitz-Birkenau and it's Dachau, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those two in particular.
There were over 4,000 of them, tiny camps even in some areas, and they all were a death camp in some form or another.
I read a book that was a firsthand accounting of one lady that actually helped shelter Jews during World War II, and she finally got caught. And part of her accounting in the book was what it was like in those work camps. And they slept on straw that was flea and lice infested.
Yeah.
And they were forced to work until they literally dropped whether they were Jewish or not, because they harbored the Jewish people. So it's like when you call these detention camps concentration camps, it's a gross misnomer. Are they being taken care of in the detention camps? No. They're underfunded. They're understaffed. They're not well organized. They weren't equipped for this much influx of people coming in from the southern border.
Yeah. There's just too many of them coming across and not enough room to put them. And when that happens, it makes for bad conditions.
Yeah.
It's like not that we want it to be bad or that the government wants it to be bad. It's just they're doing the best with what they got.
Yeah.
And they need more money to make it better.
Yeah. The whole Wayfair thing is the employees got wind of the fact that Wayfair was going to fill a $200,000 order for beds from a contractor that is trying to improve the situation down there on the border. Yeah. They 500 of them penned a letter saying that Wayfair should not be filling the order. And when they said they were going to fill the order anyway, then they said the profits should go to Raíces, which is the nonprofit organization for immigrants and the like.
Right.
And then when they didn't do that, somebody was quoted as saying, well, the end goal is to get rid of the camps altogether. We shouldn't even have them.
Right.
So.
And yes, perfectly faded delusions. The Korean camps were bad. So were the Vietnamese camps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Nazis didn't, and we're not even talking about the camps where Stalin put his own people.
Nope.
There's been a lot of bad and evil through the years. But, you know, I was glad that somebody brought the camps up, because yesterday I seen, and it was a pretty good drawing, but it was a drawing of Jewish people standing outside of the train cars, which of course you immediately get what the reference is, and they're looking sad, disheveled and everything. And it was picking on the Holocaust Museum, saying, you know, something about, you know, well, you know, this is the Holocaust Museum saying that you can't use a reference to the death camps in order to stop another, you know, ethno-genocide. Yeah. And, you know, as someone that has Jewish heritage, because my maternal grandfather was Jewish. He was a German Jew. I would be down for that if we were talking about another ethno-cleansing, because we're not.
Yeah.
It's not an ethno-cleansing. And make up our minds, folks. I thought AOC said that this wasn't about the death camps, but now you're saying it is?
Right. Well, it seems like she has a pattern. She says something stupid, people call her out on it, and then she denies she ever said it, knowing good and well that once it's on the internet, it's there.
Yeah.
So even though she tries to backpedal this stuff, it doesn't work because somebody's either screen capped it or she hasn't deleted it yet, or any combination of those factors, because she said it. She literally calls them concentration camps. And it's like, no, they're not.
Toasted says, I'm the only Jew hillbilly's ever heard of. There's more of us than you know. There's more of us than you probably know. I'm only part Jew. And that was not the religious Jew, but the actual Jewish person.
Yeah.
He was not a religious Jew. In fact, he knew nothing of the Jewish religion. My grandfather was adopted and was raised by other people other than those that had him. So, but yeah, it's just, I'm sorry, but the fact of the matter is, and I know I've pounded on this so far, and you may be getting tired of me saying it. If AOC and all these Democrats and all these people on the internet crying about, you know, and you've got all these celebrities crying out about it, and they're sharing that picture of the dead guy laying with his child laying in the river. If they really cared about all this, they'd make sure these people were cared for.
Yeah.
Because, folks, even if we decide to open our borders, which I can't see us doing, it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
Bureaucracy takes time. So these people got to have what they need in the meantime. Thank you. The next 6 minutes for the donation. Monkey cries at parking lot, gets stream restored.
I mean, it's just, there were, before he started saying or sending more people down there to process these applications, there were only 100 employees down there processing thousands of asylum and citizenship applications. That's more than anybody can handle in a day, let alone an hour or a week. I know there's regulations, rules, and laws on how long they're supposed to stay in these detention centers, but when you're that understaffed, things are going to happen. I'm not trying to, reason it out or provide excuses, but we're understaffed, period. It's understaffed and underfunded. Now, do I like the situation that they're in? No, I'm with you. I like the kids. And the kids were either brought here, smuggled by coyotes, which means their mothers paid these smugglers to smuggle their kids across the borders.
Yep.
Or their families that came here with their children in tow. Many of these kids already ill.
Yep.
Because it's a 2,400-mile trek from Honduras.
Yeah.
I mean, how desperate do you have to be, or what is your line of thinking to say, oh, my 6-year-old kid can make a 2,400-mile trek? No, they can't.
When you have this many people trying to cross our southern border at the same time, it causes an overflow. And when these people are crossing illegally, there's a process that you have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're just going to send them back, there's a process you have to go through, and that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why there is a need for these camps. It's unfortunate, but they're necessary. What do you think, Bear? You got quiet.
I think that America, rather than investing in a super expensive wall, should build a hoofing trench. A trench that, when slid down, funnels down to a singular point. And then in that particular funnel, the people coming over are briefed as they wander through the tunnel, confused, via speakers on screen, speakers and screens. That explains to them that they are now a part of the Running Man game show that never ends. And if they can make it through and don't get their asses wrecked by Sub-Zero, if they don't get their asses wrecked by Sub-Zero or any of the other hunters, then welcome to America.
Yeah, let me reiterate. I mean, we were joking, but I'm not against people immigrating to the United States. Just do it legally. Yeah. If you do it legally and you're accepted, you go through everything that you've got to go through to become a citizen. Hey, welcome to America, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's like I've had people, like I said, argue with me on Facebook about the immigration issue, and they inevitably put their foot in their mouth and they go, "Well, you wouldn't know." I said, "My parents and their family legally immigrated here and became naturalized U.S. citizens." Next, and that usually elicits an "Oh, really?" Yeah, and they think the same way I do. Where do you think I got the view from? Because my parents' philosophy is simple. If we can come here and become legalized citizens, what's stopping them?
We have 2 Bloodwings.
Yeah, my stupid brat.
He cloned himself.
Yeah. The world can't even make fun of me. I don't know what it's going to do with 2. It's my kid's worst nightmare. 2 of me.
Yeah, 2 Bloodwings. I mean, one's enough, but
Yeah. Exactly.
I think maybe there should be new requirements. So the women have to pass the hot or not challenge to get through the doors, and the guys have to tell a joke and or cook.
And the children have to go through MasterChef Junior.
And the children are sent off to a specialized Mexican-American training camp where they are converted into super soldiers.
Yeah. The J-Kids brings up actually
an intervention.
J-Kid brings up a point, which is actually a valid point. He's joking, but it's a valid point. Wonder how different it would be if the border issues were at our north.
Filthy snowbacks.
And honestly, it may, because how accepting.
And everybody, what gets me is everybody's blaming Trump. These immigration issues have always been here through many administration.
As long as I can remember.
Somebody is actively trying to fix it, and now they're blaming him for stuff getting worse, when what made it worse is these caravans that came from Honduras.
Yeah. But, I could see it happening from the north in the future, because you know how accepting Canada is being of immigrants, specifically those of the Muslim nature.
Of a particular variety, sir.
Yeah, and that's one of the issues that I have with the South. It's not.
That's what happens when you give a redneck a computer. You don't know what to do with it.
It's not just illegal immigrants coming through, but it gives an open border to people. How are we going to know that they're not radicals?
Yep, he's having technical issues. We may or may not have a stream in a few minutes, depending.
I get the feeling that Maddie's not hearing me.
Yeah, well, either that or she's just being a woman.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ask her, Bear, if she's not hearing me.
Are you not hearing Bloodwing, Maddie?
No, I'm not.
Oh, so you are being a woman then?
No, I literally can't hear him.
Hearing
I keep trying to talk, but I'm not hearing anything come out. So let me refresh and see if that fixes the problem.
Okay. Okay.
I thought something was off. I'm like, she never talks over me like that.
I was like, why is this bitch being rude? He's an old man. Let him get his words out. He takes a lot of effort. Now there's two Maddies.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There
okay. I was like, what's going on? Maddie's never this rude talking over me like that.
No, Jen, we don't have selective hearing at all. It's just that we've learned to drown out female voices.
Oh,
like we're not purposely switching out like what we can and can't hear. Like it's not a choice for us. You spend a certain amount of time with a woman, you learn to drown out everything they say.
I see that.
But yeah, I mean, it's not just the illegal immigrants coming to the South. It's what open borders what other things the open border would open up to.
Yeah.
You don't think that these radical Muslims or whatever group that wants to do us harm wouldn't try to get through the southern border if that happens?
Exactly.
And that's why, in answer to what I was saying a while ago that Maddie couldn't hear, I could see us getting tougher on the northern border in the future as well.
Mm-hmm.
The snowbacks north of the border will soon find themselves inundated with an overflow of curry-smelling Canadians that they have imported from across the sea, you see.
Yeah.
And the Americans will have to do something about that too. Minefield.
Yep. big long minefield. I'm down for it.
And then the people who work for ICE will get a choice. Right, would you prefer cold weather or hot? They'll be stationed on the northern border or the southern border.
Yeah, Foxy says Africans with Ebola. Exactly. Jolly Rogers, Bilgewater, they've already found some, but they've kept it quiet. Yeah. I mean, they've probably stopped more radical terrorists at the southern border than what they talk about.
Yeah.
Because they don't tend to talk about that a lot because they don't want to get people panicked.
Yeah. And see, what really floors me is nobody made this kind of uproar when Obama got rid of wet foot, dry foot for Cuban refugees.
No, the same people that are acting like it's just happened with Trump and that he's the cause of this problem, were saying nothing during Obama.
Mm-mm.
And like I said, this has gone on ever since I can remember, and I'll be 60. This was happening through all the past presidents, all the way back to my earliest memories. And my earliest memories, people, is JFK. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's just always been a problem.
Yeah. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think the last time the left, or anybody for that matter, raised this much of a stink was when Jimmy Carter, oh Jimmy, Lord help him. Jimmy. Talked to Castro, was bamboozled by Fidel, and he said, yes, send some of your nationals over on a boat. And Fidel goes, all right, we'll empty out the jails, put them on a boat, and ship them over.
Oh my gosh, yes. People, and I remember this very well, in the 70s, if you said the term boat people, they knew exactly what you were talking about. They were talking about the Cubans.
Yep.
And they came en masse. Anything that would float, they were on it.
Yep. That's why my mom, whenever they looked at my mom and said, oh, so you're a refugee? My mom would go, no, I am not a refugee. I flew.
Yeah. And I'm not joking. There were situations, and tons of them drowned.
Yeah.
Because they were floating on anything they could find.
Yeah.
A piece of driftwood, whatever.
Hell, they would make vehicles float as best as they could to get over here. Whatever. If anything from inner tubes to driftwood to run down vehicles, anything they could get to float, they floated. That's how bad they wanted to get out of Cuba.
Yeah. Anything that would float long enough, or they thought would float long enough to make that 70 miles to America. They were on it. And it was a big issue. Yeah, big time. On the news all the time back in the 70s.
Yeah.
But having said that, folks, if you said an hour and 4 minutes, you are exactly correct, because now the old man has to go to the bathroom.
That's right. Of course he does.
Yep.
Enjoy yourself, mate. Enjoy yourself. So, Maddie, how are you?
I am doing rather well, except for a little bit recently when my ADD's been acting up. And when I do that and try and read articles, it jumps all over the place. So I wind up misunderstanding what I'm reading. So I had to correct myself earlier.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. You're reading and all of a sudden your brain goes, no, we're going to read this now down here, down at the bottom,
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, my week's been going pretty good. I missed a couple of uploads yesterday, but trying to come up with a new schedule has been, lots of adjustments along the way. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. Ronan found a trucking company that's actually going to treat him right, because the trucking company that he was with, that he recently left, he's starting his new job Monday, for those of you that are wondering. But who he was working for would run him at night, and then they would consider off-duty driving part of his break time. He would go to sleep. They would wake him up in the middle of his sleep cycle and ask him if he was ready to drive again. And I'm like, yeah, you can't break up somebody's sleep like that and expect them to be safe on the road. I mean, to say that he cussed them out a few times would be an understatement.
Of course.
Yeah. Pat, I heard about Ranting Feminist. I even screen capped the suspension and tagged YouTube, Twitter, and went, excuse me, why did you do this? Yeah, Ranting Feminist got suspended.
Yeah, I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah. I found her little 13-minute live stream where she did explaining it. And she got into an argument with somebody that got butthurt over the fact that she called him a brainlet, which is one of her favorite words. So yeah, she goes, I may have used that one too many times. But yeah, I don't like the fact that they suspended her. I've talked to her a couple of times. She's one of the more reasonable feminists to speak with.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I mean, in regards to some things, she is, but I mean, she's not as bad as Winters and Christiosity and, and Blocked by Steve Shives.
Yeah, but she still does dig her heel in on a lot of things. And she tends to ignore a lot of people as well, especially people that make good arguments, which is irritating. And,
Who's this?
Yeah.
Ranting Feminist.
Oh, yeah, I seen she got hammered.
Yeah. The problem is rhetorical. When he would park for the day and he would go to sleep, he'd get ready and he'd go to sleep. They'd wake him up anywhere between 3.5 to 5 hours in the middle of him getting his rest. Every single day, almost. and then asked him when he was going to get started, if he was ready to roll, if he was ready to drive, and he would tell them to piss off because they woke him up. And he has a hard enough time trying to sleep during the day. He's one of these people that his sleeping rhythm is once the sun is up, he's up. And and they had him driving at night and sleeping during the day, which was the hardest thing for him to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad he left, because the last time he came for home time, he usually was only allowed to come home for 2 days. He slept for most of those 2 days because he was exhausted.
Yeah, truck driving is no joke, folks. It might sound easy, you just drive a truck around, but I've got there's a part of my family, an uncle and cousins that are all truck drivers, so I know that it's no joke.
Yeah,
it's no joke. It's a lot of miles on very little sleep. Just to get back to the immigration thing real quick for just one more point. I guess the Supreme Court has, for the time being anyway, struck down the request to include question of citizenship on the census.
Yep, I saw that. That's
Now Trump says he's going to try to fight it, or whatever, going to try to convince them otherwise. But for now, they've struck it down. So they're not allowed to ask on the census whether or not you're an American citizen.
Yeah, that's I don't agree with that, because mainly as somebody who worked for the census, you're literally told you cannot tell any other governmental department what information you gathered when they send you to a house to do a survey.
Yep.
You are literally told to hush for 99 years.
It makes no sense to me, because here's why. Let's talk this out. Why is there a census? If you think there's a census just so that the United States can know how many people it has, you're ill-informed.
Yep.
Because it's not. There's a lot of great purposes for the census. And one of the big reasons is to avoid gerrymandering.
Yep.
And if you don't know what that is, by taking a census, they can figure out how many districts in each state there's going to be for the House of Representatives, because that varies with time as population fluxes.
Yep.
It varies, and it's restructured all the time. So by getting the census, that's how that is restructured, every so many years.
Yep.
And
then,
that's all right. If you don't verify that they're a citizen, then that is tainted.
Yeah, exactly. And Ben, what was actually said by the Supreme Court justice was that Trump did not provide a sufficient reason as to why the question should be included. 3 sources that I found said all the same thing, that he did not provide sufficient reason for a justification for it to be put into the census.
How is that not a good enough reason? Just so that our states are properly representative in Congress.
I mean, if I had to shift my brain into regressive leftist mode, I would probably say that if they included it in the census, then people looking up the census data can actually target areas of illegal citizens for ICE to go round up and deport. The whole fear-mongering thing.
Yeah. And of course, this points very clearly as to why the left is so against asking the citizenship question, because they want that, because they know these illegal immigrants will vote for them.
Yep.
So if they can use them to get the districts restructured, that works in their favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, because I remember when I was working for the census and the 2000 census form came out, before it was mailed out, they put us all in a room because they were having a problem with the test mailing, because they said that a lot of the Latinos and the Hispanics were feeling left singled out for some reason, and they wanted to find what the reason was. So they were walking us through the questionnaire. Now, once you checked that you were of Hispanic or Latino origin, it told you to go to a spread of 2 pages and asked you where your ancestry was from, and they listed all the Latino and Hispanic countries. Yeah. So I raised my hand, and one of the supervisors said, "What?" I said, "I see there's 2 pages worth here, Latino and Hispanic countries." Yes, I said, "Where are the European countries? Where are the Germanic countries? Where are all the other countries for all the other people that check the other boxes? I don't see those. And you're wondering why we feel singled out? Well, here you go. Here's the 2 pages."
Yeah. I mean, it just makes no sense to me why a question of citizenship is not allowed on a U.S. census.
Exactly.
It just boggles my mind. I mean, I understand why they're against it. I understand why they don't want it. I get that. Yeah. But what I don't get is the Supreme Court saying, no. I don't understand it.
Well, it's like Rhetorical says, a quote, "We don't have a problem with what you want, just why you want it. In 1984, it was stated, no deed is criminal, only thought crime is punishable."
Yeah, and honestly, folks, the only people besides the left that should be afraid of answering that question are people that are here illegally.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like, I've argued with people all the time. I'm like, sure, they're here. They get their date to come back for their asylum hearing or their citizenship hearing. They go into the United States and they disappear. They don't show up for their court date. They're still illegal. But now they're stealing people's identities in order for them to work, to take the money back to where they came from instead of spending it here in the United States for stuff other than rent, food, and utilities.
Yep. And that's not just a southern border problem. It's everywhere. I live in Indiana, which is a long way from the southern border.
Yep.
A long way. And constantly there are stories of carloads full of illegal immigrants making their way through Indiana.
Yeah. When my mom used to work for a research company to do surveys, they sent her to Minnesota years before she would move there, and found Mexican families that she had to survey. And my mom said, I just have to ask, why Minnesota? And she goes, one of them candidly answered, because immigration doesn't look for us here because they think it's too cold for us to live here.
Hey, Bear, Jake is calling.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. These two having a conversation, I'm just
and you're welcome in the conversation. Just because you're not an American doesn't mean you can't have a viewpoint.
Oh no, I've been told too many times that as a Brit I can't have opinions on American things.
Oh crap. I say you can, and it's my opinion that counts.
Do you remember the first Lord Bear video? The amount of American spurgs who lost their shit. They're like, you think you're better than us? What about them Muslims, huh? What about them Muslims? I'm like, well, first of all, that's not my real voice. That's a character that I played for the very first time. And secondly, it's a joke.
Right.
Dumbass.
Like, in terms of people from other countries that talk about U.S. politics and news, I would rather have a conversation with you, Omegon, Tailed Feature, or there's one more. I'm brain farting, because you guys keep up with our stuff as much as we try to keep up with your stuff.
Better. In my case,
yeah.
I don't understand UK politics. I don't. I'll be the first to admit it. I've tried. It just makes no sense to my American mind.
Yeah, according to some of these people, not only can Brits not talk about American issues, but we're not allowed to make jokes, but only they're allowed to make jokes. So they can make those licensed jokes or whatever. It's funny as well because a lot of these dickheads are conservatives as well. It's like, well, what happened to your free speech? Thing. Yeah. It's like, you haven't got free speech, or it doesn't count.
My opinion's the only one that matters on this stream because it's my channel. and I say that you can speak your mind. I don't have to listen to it, but you can say what you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, unless you open your mouth or you type something on Twitter in the midst of a conversation about U.S. politics that makes you look like an absolute idiot, and believe me, I've had those conversations. I don't mind talking to you. Hell, there have been times where I've been doing my little government dumps and I'll tag Irate Bear and Omegon and go, can you clarify this for me?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm not, if I don't understand it, I'm not going to sit here and fake my way through it. I'm going to ask.
But on this issue in particular, I would say that you've got every right to speak up because you have your own immigrant crisis, in Europe. So, yeah.
Yeah. I probably should start doing videos drawing comparisons to the refugee crisis, well, the quote unquote refugee crisis, to your own caravan crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. And folks, it's not, I got no problem with Mexicans at all. I don't care.
He does. He's a redneck. He hates everybody who's not a white
No, I don't.
Protestant.
Matter of fact, here locally, there's a roofing crew that's made up almost all of Mexicans. I'm not sure if they're legal or not, and I'm afraid to ask. But they're
excuse me, but are you illegal?
They're the absolute hands down best roofing crew in the area.
No, puppy. Oh, okay.
I mean, they do the best job.
Yeah.
And they clean up afterwards. They go around your yard with these big magnets, picking up all the nails that have been dropped,
Oh, that's cool.
They're the best. So I got no problem with Mexico. A lot of them are hardworking folks.
Yeah, I used to have a friend that could be a bit of an ass. He had a job installing alarm systems in houses, and he said he looked across the street from the house and he saw this Mexican crew, framing up a house. And he said, I was tempted. I said, no, please tell me you did not. He goes, I opened the door and went, Immigración! And they all fled. Except for the American foreman that came hunting me down. I had to hide in the attic so he wouldn't find me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's let me see. Joel, in other words, stop AOC from talking about American politics. I'm going to say something rather Cuban here. The woman needs an attitude adjustment via a chancla upside her head.
Real quick, thank you for the donation, Sir Wolfgang. I live in Minnesota, and I'll take the Mexicans over the Somalians any day of the week.
Yeah,
I get you there, buddy.
Yeah.
I get you there.
Yeah, Mexicans don't bring over tuberculosis and spit. Like the not refugees, the friggin' Somalians that came over here, especially the ones when I was a wee burn, when I was a teenager. You'd see them just like hanging around outside a bus stop or a train station, like the women as well. They'd have like the full black coverings, but they wouldn't cover their faces, and they're like chewing something. I don't know what it is. I'm sure someone in the chat will tell me some kind of weird root that makes them high, and they just stand around spitting, and just don't seem to be all there. Just wandering around aimlessly. Plus, they smell.
Yeah,
That sounds really racist, doesn't it? But
it does. But I mean, it's also an observation. I mean, you can't help it. I remember.
Yeah, giant foreheads, man. Like all of them have giant
foreheads. Is bathing not in their repertoire?
Maybe they think it's just like where they come from. They've got to somehow commandeer a ship to use its shower or something. Now that was racist.
Somalian pirate reference there, folks. Look at that.
Apparently, some people would pay to see me to hit her upside the head with a chancla.
Johnny Rogers Bilge, was it? Is it racist if it's true?
I mean, I worked third shift at a convenience store for these people. This Korean family had just taken this over, and they were so afraid to leave me in the store by myself. They left their uncle there. Their uncle had this bad habit of taking off his shoes, and the smell of rotted skin would hit my nose. And I'm like, really?
Breathing through your nose.
I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, they're when I used to work at the at my last job at the limousine company, there was a driver that we had who went by the name Shami because his real name was just too long and hard to pronounce. But he was I believe he was from Pakistan, and nice guy, really loved Shami, and he was all for the American way. He told me the story of why he came here, because he was a Christian in a Muslim country and it was bad for his health. So he
Yeah, being beheaded is generally bad for your health.
Exactly. But as much as I loved him, the man, because of their food, what they eat all the time, always smelled like garlic. And I'm like, oh, can you step away from the window just a little bit? Love you, Shami, but you stink.
I was like, people would ask my mom, and I would laugh every time until she said, "No, I'm serious." They asked her, said, "Why did you move from Miami to Georgia?" And my mom's answer was always the same: to get away from the freaking Cubans. I looked at her and said, "Mom," she goes, "They're nosy. They're always up in your business, and they're always gossiping about you." I went, "Okay," and she goes, "And I'm one, so I can say that, but I want them to leave me alone."
And to be honest, Shami actually was, let's see if I can remember this correctly. He was a chemical engineer. He just couldn't get a job in the States because they didn't recognize his degree because it was from Pakistan.
Oh. Now, it's like the funny story my dad had. It was when he came back from the Vietnam War and everything, he got a job with Eastern Airlines, to date my father. And every lunch, the Cubans that were working with him would always talk about, gathering up arms and going and forming another revolution and overthrowing Castro. That's all they would do. They would talk about it. My dad said, I got fed up, went in there one day at lunch, put my pistol down on the table. I said, now you have the means, go do it. He goes, you've never seen Cubans clear from a table so fast. And he goes, well, if you're not going to do anything about it, stop bitching about it.
Yeah, it's and again, it's not that because I'm a conservative or any of us conservatives hate immigrants. It's not that at all. We just don't want you doing it illegally. Yeah. In my life, I've had the privilege, and I would say it's a privilege to know a lot of immigrants. There was Ming, who I knew that was from Laos. There was Shami from Pakistan. There was Sam that was from Western Africa. And the list goes on, and they were all good, solid contributing members of American society.
Yeah, I met a lot of immigrant exchange students that wound up being immigrants in this country while I was going to high school. They're all good people.
Yeah. And then J Kid came along, purchased them from Bloodwing, and now they're dead.
Pretty much. He did when Mama Minnie was still married, he did, and she was married to a black fella. He did often tell him, and I mean he would say it out loud, that I'm going to buy you one day. Yeah, Foxy, exactly. We love immigrants. Just do it legally.
Yeah, my mom said when they started living in Miami and everything, there was this Native American couple, a Native American family that lived in the neighborhood that kept wanting to trade their 2 daughters for her youngest brother. And Mom was like, she goes, your grandma's like, no, he's mine. She goes, yes, but he's strong. He can work. I'll just trade you my 2 daughters for him. Is that okay? No.
Jake says that's my American dream.
Yeah, ironically enough, when I was a kid, I think I may have been 11 at the time. My mum and stepdad took us on holiday to Tenerife, and that was the first time that somebody ever tried to buy me. And that was like an African guy, West African guy.
Yeah, Jolly Roger Bilgewater, I agree. I had many conversations with Sam. Extremely nice guy. I can't remember exactly which country he was from, but he was from Western Africa. I remember that much. And he was of the very dark-skinned sort. And yeah, he had no patience with so-called African Americans at all. None. He thought they were idiots.
Yeah,
so it's true.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's. I talked to somebody one day that was trying to tell me that I was racist. I must look. Every race has every ethnicity and every race has that group of people that are the bad seeds. I said black people have the N-word, which I refuse to say even in polite conversation. Cubans have Mariels. Everybody has their group of bad seeds. We can't talk about the other race's bad seed because we have them too.
Yeah, well, we rednecks have the crackers. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, but when the president literally is saying MS-13 and they're like, oh my God, he thinks all of them. No, he did not ever say that everybody coming across the border was a member of MS-13. He explicitly said there are gang members crossing the border that are MS-13. He didn't say all of them were. He said there were some.
Yeah, I really hate that argument too. And I've been into it and with someone that whose initials are BB on Twitter claiming that Trump is a racist and he hates all Mexican people and everything, and they refer back to that. And no, he never said that.
I don't know what happened to BB. BB used to be reasonable.
Yeah. Back in the day when I used to stream with him, way back in the day, he was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Oh, that itty bitty motherfucker.
Huh?
That itty bitty motherfucker. So I try to say it how Americans say it because I like the way it sounds when Americans say it.
Yeah.
Itty bitty motherfucker like that, but it doesn't sound right when I do it, so I have to say itty bitty motherfucker. What happened to him anyway? They're like,
I don't know whether it's because he went to college, because you know what happens there.
Yeah, he's studying. He's majoring in social sciences.
I don't know.
I don't know.
There was Maniac Man. Yeah, a lot of you probably don't know who we're talking about. It's a part of our little, or used to be a part of our little inner circle. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to shout him out on who it is, but these two know who I'm talking about.
Oh yes, most of them. And Bear, don't feel bad. There are certain words in vernacular that I can't say that don't sound right coming out of my mouth. Hizzy, cheddar, whip, hood, all them things I have been banned from saying.
We've done discussed this.
See?
Why did you put so much emphasis on the H?
Without a doubt, Bear has the most proper ghetto I've ever heard in my life.
For cheesy, my homie.
It was clean and everything well enunciated.
Yeah. What you should have seen the look on Rona's face the first time I said faux shizzle, my nizzle. He went, no.
Absolutely not.
Hey, how you doing, Ronan? Long time no talk to, dude.
He said long time no talk to. Here we go.
What it?
Here.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing, buddy?
Ronan.
Doing all right.
Been a long time since you and I have sat down and had a chin wag.
I know that. Been too long.
We spoke on Instagram yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. I can't be.
I think it was the day before and everything because I set you up with that picture, that lovely picture that somebody put on there.
Yes, and it genuinely made me laugh out loud as well when I saw it. I was like, "Yeah, that's right."
The minute I saw your rant about the turn signal, I went, you know what?
Oh, believe me, there was going to be another one this morning, but
I for the life of me, I don't understand what is going on. Well, I do. I know what happened here. Here in the States, they removed driver education from the high school curriculum. Big mistake. Big, huge mistake. They've removed several things from economics, civics, things like that.
Shit went downhill from there.
They're taking away life skills from the younger generation that they actually need.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like learning how to indicate left and right. It's
that was one of the main parts of driver education.
Yeah, you think it wouldn't be that hard, like you wouldn't need a class for it, but apparently we do.
Well, whenever I see that, I get behind somebody that's still got their turn signal on, but they're going straight. In my mind, I'm hearing every time it flashes, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
Well, it's like with me, since when I was 12, I went to Puerto Rico, and literally, some people joke about this, but it happened. My great uncle was driving. He put his turn signal to turn right, and the fucker turned left. And so ever since then, when somebody turns their turn signal and turns in the opposite direction, I'm like, oh, they're pulling a Puerto Rican. How nice. That's really great. That's scary.
No. Scary are the guys in the far right-hand lane with the left-hand turn signal on, and you're watching them at this red light, and they're watching traffic because you know that they're going to do that turn. They're going to make that turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're making a dive for it. Look out.
Mm-hmm. Joel there says they took away 3-point turns in the UK. When? Because I did my test in, well, fuck me, how old was I when I did my test? 24. So I've had my license for like 7 years. Jesus, I've had my license for 7 years. Because on the UK driving test, you have to do 1 or 2 maneuvers. I can't remember which it is, and a 3-point turn was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean DW, yeah, if that were the J kid that you were hearing, he would sound much more like me because we sound very similar.
Yeah, and Maniac Man, thanks a lot for the thumbs up there, buddy. Should have a lot more fun where I'm going to.
Yeah, and yeah, J Kid doesn't come over here at all. J Kid, I don't think goes anywhere, honestly.
Always like me.
Yeah.
Further proof that you could be my biological father.
There wouldn't be as much cursing, J Kid. I know you curse, and it's obvious, but you do respect me enough to keep it down when you're in my presence, and I appreciate that. I'll tell you one thing they don't teach in driver's ed anymore, I don't think, is parallel parking, because no one knows how to do that anymore either.
Tell me about it.
They didn't do that when I was in high school teaching. They taught us once. They took us out once, taught us how to parallel park once. So at my driver's test, the look on the guy's face was priceless when he goes, now you have to parallel park. And he saw the look of mild panic on my face, and he goes, didn't they teach you that in driver's ed? I said, they showed us once. He went, all right, don't tell my supervisor this when we get back in, but I'm going to walk you through it.
Well, see, way back in the Stone Age, when I took mine, and I took my driver's test in 1976, people, let that soak in.
Oh yes, they were still very much parallel parking.
Yeah, we went over it and over it and over it until you could do it.
My mom, with her screwed up sense of depth perception, did her driver's test, including her parallel parking, in an old Ford Galaxy.
Hey,
holy land yachts.
Oh, poor people and your Ford Galaxies. You know what my parallel parking's like?
I know your 18-wheeler, yes.
And yes, that's part of the test. Tractor trailer, parallel parking.
Yeah. You know what I took my test in? A 1966 Chevy 2 station wagon with a 3 on the tree.
Hey, now that's nice.
Jake hit there roasting you.
Yeah, he was trying to say that cars had to be hand cranked back when I started driving.
Did you have a test when Bloodwing started?
Actually, though, when I first got my license, they didn't even have your picture on them.
See,
they were just a piece of paper.
Hadn't even invented photos by that point. It was just it was just an etching on a wall.
Now, it wasn't too long after that they did make them a picture ID. But yeah, when I first got mine, it was just a piece of paper on it. Said, yeah, I can drive.
That's because when Bloodwing got his, Mr. Kodak and everything was still an infant.
Pretty much. Which brings up a small claim to fame. There's pretty much an understanding within my family that we are related to the guy that invented Polaroid. So,
oh wow,
not closely enough related to get any money out of that.
I know the feels. I know the feels, because when people in my school, especially in elementary school, when the Braves had Rafael Rodriguez, they're like, "Hey, are you related to him?" I said, "If we were related to him, do you think we'd be living where we were living?"
Nah.
Seriously. So just because the last name is Rodriguez does not mean we are all related, people.
Bloodwing's driver's license number was 4. No, but when I used to work for a Honda dealership, my employee number was 2. So that was a thing.
The company I'm going back to is one that I worked before in the past, and they looked up my old employee number, which is going to be my current employee number. It never goes away. And one of the guys there said, "You know how old this number is?" Unfortunately, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's only that I worked there, like 19 years ago. But
yeah, the only reason he left that company was because Katrina hit, and then diesel fuel prices went
that's
through
the
the
only
roof.
reason that I ever left them.
Yeah,
It's probably the biggest mistake of my life. But at $6 a gallon, I couldn't afford the price.
Yeah.
Fuel. My fuel went from around 1,100 a week to almost 4,000 a week.
Damn.
It's a big jump.
Yeah, it was a huge jump.
yeah.
The average weeks back then, $5,000 to $7,000. A real good week, you could do it. You could do better, especially as an owner operator, which I'm really working to get back toward because I missed that money.
Yep.
Yeah. I hear you. I miss working, honestly.
I'll be honest with you, Bloodwing, and Maddie can tell you that if I'm not working or doing something,
he's
constructive,
pacing. He's
and
like a
I'm-
caged animal.
yeah, I'm all over the place.
Yep.
I couldn't do it. I will never truly retire.
Yeah, my wife says she never will either. Well, good on you, but at some point I'm going to.
Well, my idea of retirement is it's not actually full blown retirement. I will pick up a load on Monday, bring it back home, come back home like Tuesday evening or something like that, and make about $1,500, $2,000 for the week and be done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like my dad. I always thought that he would make it until he had to retire from the airline industry, because this guy lived, breathed, dreamed, ate planes up to the point where he even was a member of the Commemorative Air Force. And when September 11 hit and the renegotiations for the Northwest contracts hit for the sheet metal mechanics and the aircraft mechanics, I heard him say, "Well, here we go again, just paint the planes blue and silver." And then when they had to go to Minnesota, my mom called me and she said, "Are you sitting down?" I said, "Why?" She goes, "Because your father uttered the phrase, 'If I see another fucking airplane, I'm going to puke.'"
Yeah.
I went, "Wow." She goes, "Yeah, that's how bad it's gotten. He's done with it." Because he walked away from the job from Northwest because he went on the picket line, because the renegotiation for the contract would have been a collective 50% cut of pay and benefits across the board. And
good grief. The chat is telling bad jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, retirement was probably the worst thing that ever happened to my dad, because he retired from the post office, but he retired early with a full retirement. They offered it to him. He had rheumatoid arthritis, really bad, and he retired in his 50s.
Was he a mail carrier?
No. He worked at one of the stations. In fact, his job there at the end was he was in charge of finding other air carriers to take U.S. mail when they had an overage of mail, which happened constantly.
Yeah, there's actually a very large part of the trucking industry to expedite mail.
Yeah. And so he was kind of forced to retire early, but it wasn't too long after that he started showing signs of dementia. So, yeah, he didn't. Retirement didn't suit him. But I think it will me. I've got another 5 years before I can legally retire with full benefits, and looking forward to it. Gerbil says he was a fudge packer. He worked at Cadbury. All right.
That's our gerbil.
Foxy says, breaking! House Speaker reverses course on border bill.
Yeah, here
I don't know what I just read, but I'm assuming you guys know what that means.
Yeah, from the Hill. I'm bringing up the article now. Let me see here. Come on, load. House Democrats will vote Thursday on a clean Senate-passed bill to address the border crisis, marking a blow to Speaker Nancy Pelosi and liberal lawmakers who had demanded additional protection for migrant children. Representative Henry Cuellar, a border lawmaker, announced the plan as he emerged from an emergency meeting in Pelosi's office in the Capitol, and other lawmakers said Democratic leaders are already whipping the $4.6 billion Senate proposal. Pelosi, in making the formal announcement, accused Senate Republicans of bucking the traditional legislative process and vowed to continue the fight for the protection of migrant children. Quote, "We don't need anyone, especially the U.S. Senate, to tell us what the needs are at the border," Pelosi wrote in a Dear Colleague letter to her troops. "As we pass the Senate bill, we will do so with a battle cry as to how we go forward to protect children in a way that truly honors their dignity and worth." You're senile. You need meds. Pelosi and her leadership team had initially scheduled a Thursday vote on their amped-up version of the border funding legislation, which included new safety and care standards for law enforcers working with migrants, provisions demanded by liberals. But party leaders faced heavy pressure from more moderate lawmakers, particularly the so-called frontline members who are seen as most vulnerable at the polls next year, to take up the Senate bill immediately. And there's more to that. I'm going to put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to read it. So, yep, looks like they're...
Basically, Bear, what's going on is Pelosi saying, we don't recognize you trying to help the border people. We have to do it our way.
Oh, okay.
House Democrats will vote Thursday on a...
Oops.
That's autoplay. It's annoying as heck.
It is.
It's the most annoying thing they could have done.
It is. I agree.
I go, there's every once in a while I go to check something on Facebook and everything, and the minute Facebook opens, something starts playing. It's like, I really hate you right now.
It's like, no, I don't want it to play. Thank you very much.
So we're down to about 15 minutes left of the stream. We can go to chat questions a little earlier and just talk.
Whatever happened to story time?
I ran out of stories. It's not that I don't have stories. I can't remember them. Because trust me, I have a lifetime of stories, folks. No kidding. But my old man memory, it is an issue. It's almost embarrassing sometimes, the things that I can't remember, and especially names. I was sitting down yesterday trying to remember the names of all my old girlfriends, and I couldn't do it.
My grandmother, God rest her soul, if you were female and standing in front of her, she would run through the entire female familial list until she got to your name. Eventually, during the conversation, she would call your name. You just had to wait and be patient. She'd get to you in a moment.
And yes, folks, I had a lot of girlfriends back in the day. J-Kids joke notwithstanding. I had a lot of them, but I should still be able to remember them. I can see their faces. Can't remember all their names. It's awful.
Let's have a look at this. What is this? Google's... Piss off with your friggin' cookies. Right. Google's new reCAPTCHA has a dark side. I don't know how reputable fastcompany.com is, but okay. The latest version of the bot detector, reCAPTCHA, is invisible to users and has spread to more than 650,000 websites. It's great for security, but not so great for your privacy. We've all tried to log into a website or submit a form only to be stuck clicking boxes of traffic lights or storefronts or bridges in a desperate attempt to finally convince the computer that we're not actually a bot. For many years, this has been one of the predominant ways that reCAPTCHA, the Google-run internet bot detector, has determined whether a user is a bot or not. Don't you woof at me, all right? Stop fucking back talking, all right?
You just can't get away from the dogs, can you, Bear?
No, man. If it's not next door, if it's not my own, it's dogs woofing at me for all the way from America, 5,000 goddamn miles away.
The funny part is, when you said that, Ruby Sue went fine, and she went to look out the window.
Turn my phone right to the window, like, apologies.
But last fall, Google launched a new version of the tool with the goal of eliminating that annoying user experience entirely. Now, when you enter a form on the website that's using a reCAPTCHA version 3, you won't see the "I'm not a robot" checkbox, nor will you have to prove you know what a cat looks like. Instead, you won't see anything at all. It's a better experience for users. Everyone has failed a captcha, says Foreign, the reCAPTCHA product lead at Google. They're always foreign, aren't they? Instead of Google, instead, Google analyzes the way users navigate through a website and assigns them a risk score based on how malicious their behavior is. Foreign won't share what signals Google uses to determine these scores because he says that would make it easier for scammers to imitate benign users. But he believes that this new version of reCAPTCHA makes it incredibly difficult for bots or captcha farmers, humans who are paid tiny amounts to break captchas online to fool Google's system. You have to understand what behavior on the site should be and mimic that well enough to fool us, he says. That's a really hard problem versus the general problem of pretend like I'm a human. Website administrators then get access to their visitors' risk scores and can decide how to handle them. For instance, if, oh my God, this is so fucking long. Just get to the point. Right, here we go. But this is new. Risk score-based system comes with a serious trade-off: users' privacy. According to 2 security researchers who studied reCAPTCHA, one of the ways that Google determines whether you're a malicious user or not is whether you already have a Google cookie installed on your browser. It's the same cookie that allows you to open new tabs in your browser and not have to relog in to, oh my God, get to the fucking point.
Hey, Jake, it sounds like Bear might have forgot too. This article is going on forever.
The redundancy in this article is mind-boggling.
It's so long. It's just
the whole point of it, though, is, you know, I hate them reCAPTCHAs too. I mean, I've failed so many of them, folks. My eyesight is not the best, and if you're going to ask me what these letters are, I'm probably not going to get it.
Probably, yeah.
It says that basically, if you use things like Tor or VPNs, then your scores come back as high risk. That's an awful lot of information here. Let's just piss off.
I hate articles and content creators that drone on and on and on and don't just get to the point. I think that's why most of my videos never get to 10 minutes.
It's just word salad, and it just makes me think they're getting paid. They're being paid by the word. Real quick, Cynical Lindsay a minute ago posted, I don't know if you guys are aware, but YouTuber, that Star Wars girl's sister has been missing for almost a week. She's tweeted info to spread awareness. I'm not familiar with that YouTuber, but yeah, I hope she finds her sister.
Yep. It's been going around Twitter, and she had a live stream the other night, and a couple of other YouTubers have picked it up, and they're spreading it around. So yeah, if you guys are on Twitter and you see that Star Wars girl tweeting about her sister, please retweet it or quote tweet it, or find some people that are bigger than you to amplify the tweet, because we have got to get her found.
Oh my gosh, Jim Beam, I didn't realize that people saw that. He says, I came in late, Bloodwing. What was that test video yesterday? And was that you on the screen? Yes, that was me on the screen. I was attempting, we all know that YouTube is going to do away with Hangouts at some point. And when you start a Hangout now, there's a little link that pops up in the upper right-hand corner that says we're doing away with Hangouts. If you want an alternative, here's a link. And you go to it, and it's to their webcam app or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was taking a look at it. And the only way that you can go there and look at it is to use it. And I've since deleted it. I seen that it was on my live stream list, but I didn't realize that went out. I thought I privated it just so I could tinker with it. Don't like it because you can't turn the webcam off. So you have to show your face if you use it. But I was giving it a try, you know, to maybe get a leg up on it before they actually do away with Hangouts. So that's what that was. Sorry. And yes, that was really me.
All right, actual question time now with 8 minutes left.
Simius is a nice beard, old man. Yeah. I like to think I got the good beard thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my issue with it. Foxy, it's not that I care to show my face, but you know, a lot of the people that I stream with, like Ranting Monkey and Scribe, they don't want to show their face, and I respect that, and I get that, and yeah, you should be able to turn it off. But yeah, I guess if all else fails, you can put a piece of tape over the camera.
Yeah.
And honestly, even though I don't care to show my face, I have shown it before on my channel. A lot of the time that I'm streaming, like now, for instance, you guys would not want to see me. I've had a nap. My hair's sticking up everywhere. Haven't combed it. I don't go out, so what's the point? I'm in a dirty t-shirt with ashes and crumbs all over it. You really wouldn't want to see me. Kid, he don't wear pants. No, I don't. I wear pajama bottoms. Thank you very much.
Bloodwing needs to be regularly vacuumed.
Oh, I'm terrible. I am awful, especially with a cigarette. I will get ashes everywhere. Just to my left where my ashtray is, there's ashes everywhere, but in the ashtray. W.R. Croston, I have a question for you. Blowing, does Irate Bear know that real men have awesome facial hair? Yeah, he does, because he actually compliments me on my beard quite often.
I mean, they are pretty dirty at the same time. They attract a lot of bacteria and stuff. Like, I mean, they, even if it looks good, that's cool. I prefer not to have any. Not that I can grow it anyway.
Jake Kim, my God, the robes. What are you talking about? I like my green robe. It's nice and warm.
Yep. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a warm robe or a good set of pajamas, which is why I do the pajama diaries.
It's broken. It's
exactly.
You know,
exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Never mind that it's probably about 15 years old. I like it.
I got clothes that are that old. I ain't even.
I've got clothes that are older than that.
Yeah.
I've got a gray shirt that I was mending the other day, doing a little sewing on it to patch a little hole. And I was trying to think of just when I got that. And I think that thing's about 25 years old. Probably should retire it.
I remember when I was in high school, and this is going to probably bring you back. We were getting ready to go to dinner, and my dad said, I finally fit in these. I'm wearing these pants to dinner. Houndstooth pants.
Yeah.
And I looked at my dad. I said, you realize those are so out of date? Your dad probably remembers when those were sewn. He goes, shut up. I'm wearing
them. Jim Beam makes a point. Monkey doesn't wear a shirt and Bloodwing doesn't wear pants. Yeah. Pookie Nam Nam. I hope I was saying that right. We want to see your dirty body. No, you don't. Not even I want to see my dirty body. But you know, here you go, folks. Yes, it was really me, and I'll prove it.
Uh-oh. We're gonna have a cam.
Yeah. See the hair and the mess. You really don't want to see this all the time, guys. Come on, be real.
Make great for a creepypasta channel.
Actually, on the creepypasta channel that I started, that is my picture in the thumbnail for the channel.
Look at him. He's like a little old man.
Yeah.
He needs to be looked after.
Yeah, and here's my woolly booger.
There he is.
There he is.
There I am.
Yeah, well, quite a handsome fella. Handsome fella.
Not what I expected.
Not sure what you expected, but you know. Pookie Nom Nom, no white beard, not yet, but it's sure getting there. I got a whole lot more gray in the beard than I do on my head.
I'm about to say that I can let mine grow out for you, Bloodwing and everything, because mine has more gray and white in it than anything else right now at this point.
But it runs in the family. My dad, up until recently, looked a whole lot younger than he really was. He always said we had the Dick Clark gene. You know, we look younger than we are, but inside we are a mess.
It's like my mom always said, because I said, does grandma ever age? In reference to her mom, she goes, the thing about Latinos is when that gray starts creeping in, we're old.
Yeah.
That point, because it's like we age slower than everybody else, and it's like, I don't know, but I'm not complaining.
Why are you telling me to turn the camera on? If you want to see my face, go to Irate Alex and watch videos there.
Have you not seen Bear's? Who hasn't seen Bear's face? My goodness.
Yeah, call me Babyface. It's funny. I got ID'd for cigarettes yesterday, and she, the lady behind the thing was like, she looked at me. She didn't say anything at first. She looked at me funny, like squinting her eyes, and I was like, "Why the fuck is this bitch looking at me like that?" And then she went, "Can I see some ID?" And I went, "I'm 31." She went, "No, you're not." And I went, "Well, yeah, I am."
Well, I'll tell you what's a sign of you're getting older. I used to get, I looked young. And back in those days, I had to stay clean shaven because of the jobs I had. And which makes me look even younger. Even today, it would make me quite a bit younger if I was to shave. But, I'd get carded for liquor and cigarettes and stuff all the time. And I'm like, dadgummit, I'm old enough. Now, when it happens, because it still does happen now, because they're supposed to ask, like at the tobacco store where I buy my tobacco, they ask me what my date of birth is all the time.
Yeah.
And I take it now as a compliment. Like, well, thank you, sweetheart, for asking me what my age is.
When I used to work at a convenience store, there were these two old ladies that came in first time in the store, and I made them crack up laughing because they put a 12-pack of Miller Lite on the counter. And I put my hands on my hips. I cocked my head to one side, and I said, I don't know. I don't think the two of you youngins are old enough to be buying this beer. And she went, oh, God bless you. Here's my ID.
Yeah, J-Kid has it because he used to work for a gas station. His last job, folks, he knows, supposed to card anyone that looks under 40.
Yep.
Ron said he got ID'd for a 12 rated film in Asda. Bless you.
Thank you. All you need says, I think the beard looks good on you. I do too. I won't shave it off now, although it does need a good trimming. It's got out there a little too long, I think.
And no, I do not have a rat's tail haircut, Necroso. I have a skinhead. In that photo, I've never had a rat's tail. I always usually have a skinhead. My hair's regrowing now. It's starting to get on my tits a bit, to be honest. I need to get a short back and sides.
Yeah, I need to cut my hair too.
Exceptionally long for me and everything, so it's time for a brand new flat top or anything military style length.
Because his hair is thick.
Who you telling? I've been known to kill clippers.
I have.
If you go too fast on my hair with a pair of clippers, you will dead stop them. There's no question. It'll just and just stop. Mike Savage says, I've seen you before, Bloodwing. I hope that means online. But yeah, I've showed my face before.
He watches you at night when you're sleeping.
Stalker. Oh my gosh. Yeah, people with rat tails, that's so 1990s.
Yeah, it's very 90s, yeah.
Yeah, J-Kid has a point. If you come here for sanity, you're looking in the wrong place, Foxy. Because there's none to be found here.
And it is that time now.
Oh my gosh, it's actually past time.
Yep.
Well, that was a quick 15 minutes. My gosh. Oh, but yeah, it's that time, and time to end the stream. Sorry, Foxy, but I'm getting tired. And 2 hours, I think, is a good time. Anything beyond that, it just kind of wears itself out, you know. And better to end it before you start getting bunches of dead air than, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everybody for that came out. Thank you for supporting the channel with your views and your likes and your shares. Thank you to those that were able to go a step further and send a little money the old man's way. Appreciate that. Thank you, Bear, for
You're most welcome, Pepper.
Anything you want to shout out?
Yes, my latest video on IRA Alex. It's on a scumbag trying to take advantage of Etica's suicide. I ripped him a brand new bumhole. Go give it a watch, please, guys. And as well, because Ranting Monkey was unable to stream because of the 3-month ban that he's been put under. I don't know if he's planning on using his gaming channel to do live streams, but he does have a DLive, which I'm linking down below. Go give him a follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Monkey's going to need some help in the next 90 days. Maddie, as always, and Ronan, good to see you.
Nice
thanks for both of you for showing up. Anything you want to shout out?
Well, I got the blog, the newest article on the blog running through there. And if you click on my name, you go to my channel. Well, there is a new video up there too. So yeah, I've been busy this week.
Yeah, well, good on you. And as always, stay tuned for the next episode of Redneck Radio, which will be Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. And also Sunday will be episode 4 of Redneck Trek. And I promise you, I think this will be a good one. I really believe so. So stay tuned for that. But until then, as always, get out of my yard.
Bye, guys.
Bye.